When my first real draft, I started understanding it. It was actually pretty epic. I woke up the morning of and Mario Williams was, all of a sudden came out of nowhere that he was going to be the first pick. So I'm pretty sure that's like the first draft I remember, whatever year that was.
That's right, because it was Reggie Bush the whole way.
Reggie
Like,
Bush,
of
yeah.
course
Then
you're going to
Mario
take
Williams
Reggie
came out
Bush.
of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was it. That unpredictability of the draft is always pretty intoxicating because there's something crazy is going to happen. You just don't know what it is,
Yeah, no doubt,
man.
no
Well, like
doubt.
your draft day, like how did you like take it in as somebody that was going to get? Did you have expectations of when you were going to go, where you were going to go, all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I knew me leaving early, I was gonna get knocked because I only had 1 year of college. I kind of knew the first round was, it was possible still, but I was thinking more, day two for sure. Like, I should say that was a safer bet. Like I was more like sure. So that's when I had my draft party and everything and all that. But I just knew it. Like I kind of knew it all went down to what team needs, or in Green Bay's whoever they thought was best on the board at the time. So I was anticipating round two, pick 50, another team in the North, Minnesota, but they went another route. And then the other two tight ends that were picked before me, I was kind of thrown off by that. But, thank gosh, it worked out for the better. Uh, but yeah, by, by, by when I got picked in round three, it was like we'd already been 2 hours of kind of partying and stuff. So my nerves were a little at ease by then. So it was perfect timing.
So everybody probably knows you here. We were talking about you before you came on, but Jace Sternberger, Green Bay Packers, year three coming up, right? This is
Year three, yeah. Some
already. It's going to
people
be year
think it's
three.
been longer, but it's flown by.
And I think a lot of folks here probably read the Packers story we had right out of the shoot when we launched. But man, that was fun talking to you back then, just about
Yeah, that was a
sparring
good
with
time.
Clowney out there in the playoff game and your mentality and everything you've been through. That was thank you for all the time first, but
Oh, no doubt.
man,
I'll
that was a
say
lot
I
of fun.
enjoy it. I think it's the universe saying that we have to have another face off because last year was the Titans, but I was sick and then I was strep and then he was hurt, so we didn't play each other. And then now he's signed with the Browns and we're playing them again this year, so it'll be exciting.
So for anybody who missed it, like give us the Spark Notes like rundown of the time that
Yeah, I
Clowney
mean,
almost killed each other out there.
yeah, spark notes of it. You just got a dumb, ignorant rookie who is just get told to run through a brick wall. So I'm just saying yes, sir. To try to impress Aaron and the other vets. So I get in there and I have to I'm supposed to like cut Clowney first play, of course. Start off with a bang. I go to cut him. He like jumps out of the way. And I kind of leg whip him. So I try to trip him. Sneaky, but he was like, "Hey, don't do that shit again." Blah blah blah. Then it was on from there. He just kept saying like, "Who are you, 87? Like I've never seen you on film. No one knows your name." And then like the smart ass him, I'm like, "Well, been on IR for 8 weeks. Like no one." I'm thinking in my head. I'm not saying this, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, "Don't let it bother you. Who cares?" You know. So then I already knew I was already in his head. Rent free. I was like, "This is gonna be fun." Like I'm used to talking crap, but yeah, so the plays just kept he kept saying you suck, and then I caught a ball, juked him pretty bad. He like broke my neck, yanked my helmet off and all that, and then he's just like I was like, dude, if I suck, like you must be effing terrible, like like you're horrible. Then luckily Bakatari comes. I keep butchering his last name. I still don't know how to say it right, but Dave comes and puts his arm around me, protects me, and so I was saved. And then the next play, he kind of bowed up to me, and I was just like, I'm 10 toes, I'm not scared. Granted, it's easy to say that when you got Mercedes Lewis right next to you, makes things a little easier. But yeah. So that was that, and then I think he'd given up by then. We were already winning, and that he was tired. So
That was great. And when you told that, I remember going back and looking at it. And you nailed it. Like you weren't exaggerating anything. That's exactly how it went down. Like the leg whip, and you can see you're right in his face, telling him you must be effing terrible. Like if I'm this bad. So
yeah,
it was real. But you got the Browns this year then, so you'll be able to
yeah, and so that's
get
when I
back
think
out.
my teammates were kind of like, this dude's either an idiot or he's crazy, one of the two.
But that's what the team needs, really. I mean, you got to have some of that to you, especially
No
in the
doubt.
playoffs, don't
I
you?
think it just goes back to at the end of the day, it's just a game, and we're kids at the end of the day. Like we just love playing it. And it's the same thing as talking trash in the backyard. It's no different. Just the fans intensified a little bit.
Awesome. Well, man, the way we do this, like usually we're just kind of, all hanging out, drinking something. So I hope you remembered. There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
I got my Buffalo Trace. All of a sudden, I'm becoming like I like to sip on whiskey, so I've been, I feel more mature doing that.
We got a little gentleman's here, but neat. No ice. You just go straight neat.
Yeah.
Wow. What's and please, as we do it, guys, just like jump in. Don't let me dominate the conversation here. Jace is sick of hearing me. We talk enough, but I mean, elephant in the room. I mean, is your phone just blowing up? Like, are people constantly asking you, like, what the hell's going on with your quarterback right now?
Not really. I mean, not really. I mean, there's some, but for the most people I talk to, like my friends and stuff, they kind of know, like, I'm not Aaron's first priority. He's gonna let know like what's going on. Like I know just as much as you guys. It's not like we're in a group chat. He's keeping me up to date with what's going on and stuff. So and I always tell people like again, like I think he's 36, 37. Like there's not a lot that we talk about in general, anyways. Like before this, so I'll see him when I'll see him. In the off season whenever I see him, if I see him. But other than that, I'm just kind of I'm with you guys. I'm just checking my phone, reading the ticker. Might text my agent, see if he knows anything every now and then.
Hey, Jace, thanks for taking the time to do this. I have a two-parter, if you don't mind. First, what have you noticed from Jordan Love so far in practice? Obviously, we don't get to see him on field, but what's your honest assessment of him? And then, secondly, last year Robert Tonyan, 11 touchdowns. I think a lot of those. I think clearly Rodgers has a knack for looking at the tight end in the red zone. So do you feel like you can be a big part of that going forward with him or with whoever's, under center?
So first part with Jordan, I've actually had the benefit, I'm getting to work. I was getting to work with Jordan, one just coming off of COVID and then being sick throughout the season with the concussion. So I got to do a lot of work on scout team with Jordan this year. And, I think like any young player coming in, it was a little eye opening at first, just being around a bunch of like grown men, and it's different, but very coachable. Like I really don't have a bad thing to say about him. Teammates like being around him. He got in trouble, for being a little too quiet at first, but Aaron kind of ironed that out of him. Like, hey, you got to be able to, speak up and communicate and be good. It's okay to be yourself, And so, yeah, like I said, I think he was progressing a lot. I mean, it obviously hurts, not getting to play in preseason games, but I mean, you could say that for anybody, not getting to play preseason. I think, like I said, going back to Bob, I call him Bobby. That's what we all call him, but Rob, going back to him, like I said, it's just a perfect example of, of sticking to the script and, waiting your turn. He did everything right. And for us on the team, it wasn't surprising that he was doing this. If you go back to the 2 years, he was playing great, had a big time catch against Dallas. He just tore his core muscle on that play, I think you can't really control. And so, he just kept his head down and worked. And that's what's so beautiful about Coach LaFleur, his system is, if you really know your details and, you understand the offense, there's a really good chance that, it's not built around tight ends, but tight ends are a huge part of the success in the offense. And so, it just goes for I'm not saying what he's doing was easy, but, anybody that, puts in the time and puts in the work and then really understands the offense, there's no telling who's going to succeed in this offense. And that's what's so exciting about it. So I do believe, I feel like we could all be really, really successful this year.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
That is interesting too. I mean, like with Jordan, I mean, like usually you do have some preseason games. Like even Aaron, he had that Cowboys game a few years in. Like you see something, like nobody knows at all.
A joint practice, a scrim, like what I'm saying, like something.
You guys know, I mean, so you did see some growth. Like, I mean, I don't know. He's probably working scout team. It's hard to really gauge, I guess, where he's at.
Yeah, because like I said, you're not getting hit. You're just you're running other teams' plays.
Right. Yeah. It definitely adds a layer of intrigue, with everything going on. It's like the big question is he going to be good? Like if he is, then things can kind of work out beautifully for everybody.
Yeah, and it was just, I think it's more credit to him that he's not getting enough credit for is first off, he's getting the unwanted attention, just throughout, not 12 was awesome towards Jordan the whole time, but just, media fans, how it could be, just a little tense. And then, like I said, he got shortened of an off season and a preseason, and he just kind of got thrown in there. I was actually really impressed, how he handled himself, mentally, just being able to stick through everything. And, obviously you're going to mess up the first couple of days, and still be able to, keep your chin held high, and just not get discouraged when, everything's telling you to be discouraged. Like, what the hell are they doing? Blah, blah, blah. They just drafted you. Aaron's here. Like, you're not about to play. Like, so, I mean, he was facing all adversity, and, he stayed strong and definitely got better day by day.
Awesome. You yourself, I mean, you've had a crazy couple years. I mean, between injuries and opportunity and COVID and just shit, you got to be ready just to play.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just like, I mean, last year was a bunch of uncontrollable things that happened. Don't wish it on anybody, but also, I learned a lot from it. So I'm very fortunate, to be healthy again and keep playing the game I love. And so, I was just lucky it wasn't a major injury. Thing with concussions they are unfortunate, but if you don't rush it and you actually take your time, your brain will fully heal again. And so, that was my big thing, is I wasn't about to rush back, because like I said, I love the game too much, and just excited for a healthy season.
Man. Was that scary? Like that concussion, like the symptoms? And
oh God, yeah, for sure. Because I've never had one before in my life, and then I've had two the past 2 years. One being that cheap shot at our joint practice with Texans, and that was more of like it like snapped myself out of, like, I really wasn't myself. Like, personality was weird. Like, that was actually scary. This one was more the traditional, like, my balance was off, loud noises, bright lights, but the first one was like, I recognized, like, I knew who I was, but like doctors, they didn't recognize me, like, just facial expressions, just no personality. Like, that's when I was like, oh, these are scary. They're scary. Like, this is bad.
Especially when like the third to the fourth to the fifth, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't want to scare the hell out. It's like you got to be cognizant of that kind of stuff, though, don't you? Like,
oh yeah, no, that's why I'm like,
it's your
and that's what's cool about our coaches. Old school, like, they're like, hey, you don't got a headache today? Like, let's get back in there. Like, our coaches were very, like, not pressure. Like, what I'm saying? Like, this is your brain we're talking about. Like, let's take care of it.
I know we got a couple Packer fans in here, right? So,
Mr. Can I ask him a question, Tyler?
I was just gonna call on you. That's why I like that. It was great to see you hop in, man.
I'm actually in Europe at the moment, so it's 3 a.m, buddy.
Oh my God, that's commitment. I love it.
Well, I got up to read Silverstein, and I said that you were doing a Zoom, so I think we want to trade Aaron Rodgers and Silverstein for you and Josh Allen. How about that? Hey, Jace, I have a question. I went on a Lambeau Field tour once where we went down underneath. Well, how does Lambeau Field, like running on the field at Lambeau Field versus other guys that are playing in other places? How does it compare?
Man, I was actually talking about this last night. Like, it's just, I don't want to give you a cliche answer and be like, it's chills, and it's crazy, but it's like, I think what like sets it over the edge, one is the colors. Just like I've never been on a colorful team. Like, I've always been on like a navy or a maroon, kind of a neutral color, but like the green and yellow is like, just filled through the fans. So first it's like scary because there's smoke, like the went blank, the tunnel smoke, what I'm saying? And it's so thick. It's like, we have like an inside joke is like, like, oh shit, we kind of got to jump over, like, you really can't see. So it's like players are kind of jogging through the tunnel, but then like when we get to the smoke, we're kind of like senior citizen, like trotting, because like you really don't want to like hit the goalpost, what I'm saying? Like, you just don't want to do anything wrong and slip. But then it's like when you clear that fog and it's just, you just see the colors and the crowd roaring. Like, I really can't even explain it. Like, it's a one of one experience. I really, unfortunately, like I said, I'm fortunate I get to experience it, but it's unfortunate not everybody can.
And then you had a whole season without anybody, and I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what it was like playing out there in Lambeau and looking around at just empty bleachers.
Yeah, it was cool because, like, we had to create our own energy at first. And it was like, at first it was like we were past the point of faking it. We actually were excited and stuff. But then when they started letting fans back in, it was like, we were idiots. Like, we weren't excited. Like, this is exciting. Like, this is what, So that's for sure that.
All right. Well, I got another one here. Like from my vantage point, one thing that, and we probably talked about this last year too, last off season, whether it's people locally in the media, nationally, I think the biggest lie in football is that the Packers don't have weapons. Like that there's nothing there. And I remember you said last offseason that there's this unseen talent. And then we saw it. Like, you guys go 13-3 again. You lead the league in points. You mentioned Bob. That was probably some of that unseen talent. Like, as a player who is a part of that supporting cast that's shit on all the time, especially a weekend like this, does it piss you off? Because I feel like it would if I was in your shoes.
I like to poke fun. Like, it's funny. Earlier I tweeted some pictures of me working out, and people were just saying stuff. I'm a smart aleck, so some of the stuff's just kind of funny to say back. But but again, you really can't be mad at them. It's not like they know, because when I was telling you this last year, I was like, that's another reason why I'm not panicked or oh my gosh, year 3, I got it. I haven't done anything that I want to do yet. Because it's that's not how our system is. You can come in, and be successful, but there's a lot of players you have to pay your dues in the sense of learning the offense, learning 12's trust, like Bobby Tonyan, for example. What I'm saying? First 2 years, he did a little bit, but not what he wanted to do. Then he really got his opportunity and shined and killed it, because it's we know what we do at practice, and it's everybody pushes each other, and there's a standard set. And so it's one of those things where yeah, like I said, I've never really bought into we don't have weapons, because it's I see what they do at practice. Trust me, they got plenty. It's all about confidence and just getting their opportunities.
And like you said too, this is what I hung out with Marquez Valdez-Scanlon down there in Florida a few weeks back, and he said, look, you can't just pick a guy up off the streets and throw him into this offense, because you've got Matt's playbook, you've got Aaron's playbook, and they kind of fuse together, and you don't really know what play you're going to be running.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing coming in, especially with tight end being one of the most dynamic positions, mentally, and having to know so much. There'll be times the last thing I want to do is get a check wrong from Aaron, but then there are also times that you're lined up and he'll give you a check and you don't know it, so you're just oh shit. But then after you're kind of stressing oh, I'm about to get in trouble, and he's my bad, that was from Tay, and then we'll say hey, that was from when we were 2014. I'm I was a junior in high school then. I wasn't even on this team when y'all made up that nickname. What am I supposed to do? So he doesn't he's very understanding about certain things, because he just gets in a zone. There's certain plays. One of Rob's touchdowns last year against the Falcons, we haven't ran that play all season. Granted, it was week 4, but we ran that week 13 of last year, my rookie year. But he called that signal, and Bobby's smart, so he just remembered it. But you never know what's going to be called.
That's wild. Calling plays from 2014 and 2020.
Why are they doing that?
Crazy.
So it's so much of your job, it really is just trying to mentally get on that level. You can't get on a level though. You can't know plays that you don't even know half the time though too. That's gotta be tough.
That's why you just gotta, like I said, be a sponge and just be a listener, learn, ask questions. You can't not ask questions.
Hey, Kat, can I ask a question real quick?
That's why we have you here, Dustin. Fire away.
So, Jace, when that happens and the signal's called, you don't have any idea what it is. What do you do? Just stand there and hope to God the ball doesn't fall in your hands?
Well, I usually have a general idea if it's a runner or a pass. And I've gotten better at kind of doing some common sense, and I know what he wouldn't call, and I can kind of narrow it down to what he might be calling. But that hasn't happened thankfully in a long time. But I remember the first time I did, I think I just ran a basic little 5-yard out route, and so I kind of played it safe. Or if you're on the outside, you can never be wrong. Just running vertical, just run, just take off.
Everybody catches the wrath though at some point. Like I'm sure there were
Yeah.
moments.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, I've definitely I've been on that side of things many times. Trust me.
How dare you not know the play from 2014? That's
Yeah. No doubt.
So, I'm curious, how does somebody like, for example, we'll throw Aaron Rodgers in the mix here. How does somebody like him, he hasn't ran his play since 2014 either. So, granted, he's the quarterback, so he's going to remember the play. But how does a guy like him take a bad coaching job like that? Because you don't, and that's not to throw, the coaching staff under the bus, but you had your playbook in front of you. Look at it. Look at it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, true. No, that's a good point. But the unique thing about 12 is like we have our playbook, but he has his own one too. So he has his own playbook too. So sometimes the coaches don't always know like what we're about to be running because Aaron will kind of make adjustments based on what he sees. But not every quarterback has that privilege like he does.
It's a balance. I mean, it's a tough balance to strike. I mean, and you guys scored more points than anybody, so it was working, right? Like for the most part, it was all.
Oh yeah, it works.
I'd imagine. Like
it's a great offense.
I wonder if that happens in every organization. Like if coaches do that.
I think it's. I mean, like Shanahan, right? Like the 49ers are. He's big on finding the perfect play for the perfect moment and having that kind of control. I think it kind of varies, right, Jace? I mean, when you around the league, what do you think? Like, what would be the setup elsewhere?
I don't know. Just because, like, just from what I've heard from different friends who are on teams is they don't have that much freedom. Like, just like I said, you can use context clues, but one of my teammates trains with one of the 49ers teammates who's really, really good. And I know that their quarterback had no freedom. Like, Shanahan wasn't having that. Like, it was this, like, there's this check, but other than that, like, you're not changing anything.
But the difference is it's Shanahan and again, no offense to Green Bay, but it's Shanahan gonna make a mistake and call a play from 2014? Probably not.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I shouldn't say called a play from 2014. It was more like it was the signal to a play. Like because he changes the signals, like every year, every 3 or 4 weeks. If we play a team in the north, the signals will be different from the first time, So like I should have said he'll signal something that he was an old signal, but that's what's even more unique though. For example, like I mean, it's getting better because I'm on year 3 with Aaron, but like Devontae, who's been with him for 8 or 9 years now, Devontae knows all those signals. So like because teams study signals, so like you got Xavier Rhodes or someone who's Darius Slay who's played against Devontae, like they watch those signals. So it's like they have a whole file cabinet of signals. And so in Crossfire, he can get mixed up, like, just kind of signaling, but that rarely happens, I should say.
Yeah, that's a great point, man.
Jace, I got a question. I don't know if I've been kind of in and out putting the kids to bed and I haven't really, been here the entire time. So I apologize if someone already asked this, but I've watched a lot of Kellen Mond who, at some point this round, I think will be drafted. What can you say about him? I've watched a lot. I've watched about 5 or 6 of his games in terms of kind of evaluating. And there's some games where he looks like a first rounder and there's some games where he looks like a 4th round QB. What can you say about your experience with him?
So like I said, I was only at A&M for 1 year, but the year that obviously I was there was Jimbo's first year. So it was everybody's first year in that system. And the thing that's really cool about Kellen, and he wasn't really getting credit for it this whole process until he became draft eligible. And you see, like, he's shooting up the boards. Every coaches are loving him, and they're like looking past his stiffness, whatever. But like Kellen, first off, is one of the most athletic kids I've ever been around. Like practice, conditioning, like trust me, like he's NFL athletic. But anyway, watching him go from an RPO system with Kevin Sumlin to taking the coaching that he did from Jimbo was just like, he was so hard on himself that first year. Like, I mean, he's already his dad's military, so he's already like very well disciplined, very, he wants to be great. And man, he took coaching to the next level. Like he was that personally is why I think he would have those games you're talking about where first round where he's just like, you could tell like the Clemson game when we beat LSU, like he was just playing ball. But then those games where he's kind of maybe pointing or directing throws, I think that's just Jimbo. Jimbo's like my favorite coach ever. Like I love Jimbo to death, but with quarterbacks, he's definitely the mean dad, like super strict in practice, but like off the field loves you like a son for sure. But there's sometimes he would just have Kellen thinking too much, and that's not. I mean, that's not. I don't want to say it's Jimbo's fault because Jimbo's made Kellen who he is today. But it's just a definitely thing. Just I think he'll have more freedom in the NFL, and so I'm excited for him.
Yeah. I mean, I spoke to one person that she interviews quarterbacks, for the Draft Network, and she had said one interesting thing that she had seen on tape is that, Kellen Mond would throw, a touchdown in certain plays. And instead of going to the sideline to celebrate, he almost like he'd be asking, like, did I miss a read? Like, was there a better route that I could have? So even when he does something right, I feel like there's times where he's looking to see, even though I made the play here, was there another play I could have made to, that could have impacted the team in a more, competitive way. So, for a college quarterback, that's a good, in my opinion, that's a good sign.
No doubt. And the other thing that people are going to get from Kellen is like, there's just a play that sticks out. It was week 3. We just lost to Clemson. We're playing Louisiana Monroe. And like Kellen's always been, he's kind of, I'd say he does it. I mean, Baker does it pretty consistently, but, just always, if it's a run play, sprinting down the field and like celebrating with your teammates. But we did like a little sweep one time, and the running back either cut back or reversed the field, and Kellen's like running lead blocking and like literally like trucks this linebacker, and it was like the coolest thing I've seen a quarterback do. So I was like, yeah, this kid's gonna be good in a couple of years. Like, I mean, he was already good. He's obviously in college in the SEC, doing his thing. But I was like, he's gonna have a bright future, I think.
Yeah, appreciate it.
No problem.
And I mean, you had.
Hey, Jace, I got a question for you, kind of about your college days, I guess. I'm curious to know kind of what went into your decision to forego your last year of eligibility. And was it tough to make that decision? Did you sway back and forth, or was the choice kind of obvious?
Okay, so the choice was more like once I made my mind up, it was pretty easy. Like the hard part of more of it was more the social aspect of it, like missing your friends. Like everybody has treated me so well there. Like I've only been there 1 year, so it's like the relationships. I felt guilty leaving Jimbo, but like the decision side of it was like, man, I've been to Kansas for 2 years, went to JUCO, came here. I was like, it was just like all signs were just pointing like you got to keep moving. Like I don't know what you were gonna, what like I just didn't know what was gonna happen that next year, and so like the decision part of it was, I was like, I feel like I've been in school for like 15 years. Like I've been everywhere. I've done all these different things. And, so foregoing was like, I just felt like the timing was right. Statistically, I really couldn't put up a better, I could have done it again, but, doing the whole All-American and like leading basically every stat line, it was just kind of like, and not that I'm a numbers guy, but at the end of the day, like, if I was going to come back my senior year, like that's what it would have been to do is, to try to improve my numbers. But yeah, it was just more of a part of me just saying like, man, I think, it's time to make that next move. And, I think mentally, I think I could handle it, which I have, so.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, 48 catches for 832, 10 touchdowns. You averaged 17 yards per reception. Like I forgot like how dominant you were back in college. Like man, there's got to be it's got to be weird and frustrating in a sense to like be the guy, right? Be used in every way imaginable in the biggest games in college football to having to kind of wait. Like you said, this offense, it's just about opportunity. Like mentally, you kind of just stay patient because you proved you can do it. and be used.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You know, I'm not doing anything different. I mean, other than like, you know, trying to get bigger, stronger, faster. You know, just really hammer the details. Like I said, my opportunity is going to come someday. But at the end of the day, like, you got to pay your respects to the vets too. Like in the system, it's not like you know, there's a lot of other teams where I truly believe like I could just go there and I'd be, you know, be the guy and everything would be great. But it's like, I'm very fortunate, I feel like, to be on this offense, you know, with Devontae, with, you know, 12. And like we had Mercedes Lewis when I was first here, Jimmy Graham, you know, Rob was the young guy. So it was like, you know, I wasn't going to be ignorant and, you know, a know-it-all. I was really going to learn from these guys. And, you know, they're obviously all doing, Jimmy, Mercedes have played longer, you know, as long as that I would like to play. So, you know, keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, and just like take notes, like learn from it. Like, you know, there's like, you know, there's no timetable on whenever, you know, everybody has a different route when their time is. And, you know, I just truly believe in that. So it's like training with them. I'm not going to do anything different other than, you know, keep getting better. But, you know, I was like, I'm not about to stress out about this. Like, I'm in the NFL right now. I got to enjoy it, just be as best as I can.
I mean, there's so much to do in Green Bay too. I lived there 5 years. I mean, you can really
right.
explore the space. No, I liked living out there. It wasn't that bad. Everybody liked.
No, I feel like it's a good spot for a young kid who needs to focus for sure.
You got Hagemeister Park and Fox Harbor, and I think the bar we went to was Vintage. I think they probably shut down. It's probably not even there on Washington Street anymore. But
yeah, I've never even been to a bar in Green Bay.
Really? Not
I've
even in the season, May. Like, wow. What do you do in Green Bay?
Well, I'm never there in the off season.
Yeah.
My first off season, we had COVID, so you know everybody was home. Have I not been paying attention? Has the Notre Dame linebacker still not been picked yet?
He has not.
No, he's still on the board.
I don't.
Why? Do you guys know why? Am I missing something?
A team doesn't know how to use them.
Yeah, so I just went on, and the guy from the Senior Bowl, Nagy, he's actually kind of ticked off about this, like that some scouts have been saying like, no, they don't know how they would use them, and the tape's fun, and that's about it. And he's like, well, that would have been nice for him to have known when he thought about going, declaring for the draft.
Well, what about the like I said, what about the other kid that everybody's talking about, the safety from TCU? Has he not been picked yet either?
Didn't the Raiders?
The Raiders finally got him. Yeah, he wasn't the first one though. Richie Grant out of UCF went before him. Which
see, I saw the Richie Grant pick, but I haven't been paying attention the past like 10 picks.
Yeah, I know somebody that lost a lot of money on that one. So, in terms of player prop bets.
Yeah, that no, I'm excited. I hope I got a few friends who are getting picked tonight. I really do. I hope so.
Who's that? Yeah, like who you rooting for?
Well, obviously, we talked about Kellen. Like, I'm excited to see what they do.
If he doesn't get picked tonight, I'm gonna freak out.
If who?
If Kellen doesn't get picked tonight, I'm gonna freak out.
Me and you both. I don't mind Washington picking him. That'd be a cool spot for him. But
that would be
cool. And then I have my linebacker buddy, his name's Buddy Johnson. I think he's projected like 3rd to 4th round, so it'll be interesting to see what he goes. But I honestly, like, A&M has like 4 linemen who are in it, who are all sophomores when I was there, and I don't know like what their projections is. Like, I don't keep up with projections that much anymore. But I was like, so I don't know what they're scheduled to go. I just read that, you know, a lot of linemen are supposed to go today.
There's like, this is probably no shot. Like, do you know who Hunter Campmoyer is? The H-back for Oregon by chance? Just being another tight end?
No.
Oh, okay. My mom grew up with his dad. They were like brother, sister, basically, but he might get drafted. He might not. We'll see. I tell you what, I still am a sucker for all the family celebrations. I kind of liked last year with the draft when it was, no Goodell, no pomp and circumstance and bullshit with the camera. Like, it was just stripped down to its essence.
Yeah,
that was really cool. I enjoyed that very much.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching.
I just felt it was more this is relatable, just more humane, you know, like you get to see everybody's families, like how truly happy everybody is. And that's like when I was doing my process, ESPN was like, do you want, like, can we come film your stuff like with camera crews and whatnot? And I was just like, man, first I already have a huge family, but like I really don't want a bunch of cameras around, especially like my family likes to drink. Like I don't want to be on camera. Just make a meme possibility, just one of my uncles or someone, you know. But yeah, I definitely I like people who do it at home. I think it's very cool to see how excited everybody's families are.
That's so true. Yeah, you're right. I forget we see like the camera in the moment when they're picked, but there's just cameras there waiting all day pretty much. It'd be kind of awkward, I would think.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I'm like you want a plate of food, like you need a drink, like you don't gotta just like put the camera down, man. Like it's been 40 picks since I've got like relax.
And like you said, there's that memeable moment. Was it CD Lamb last year? Didn't
Oh,
he
yeah.
took the phone from his girlfriend?
Oh, here we go. The Browns just took Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Ah, crap.
There go.
That's a good, like Cleveland's defense is like becoming really sneaky, like really athletic.
They traded up with Carolina to do it too. So obviously they saw him falling and they said, you know, I don't know where they were picking originally, but Carolina had the 52nd pick and they traded down with Cleveland.
Yeah, they did a 3rd and 4th round pick swap to 59 to 52.
Oh, so only 7 spots.
Look at this guy, though. I mean, what's with the leather recliner? Dressed up. I mean, come on. I don't know.
So does Tennessee go for another receiver?
I would think.
Yeah, they lost Corey Davis, right, to the Jets.
Yeah,
they got AJ, Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, we had Dwayne Eskridge on the
I was
happy
about to
hour a
say.
few weeks back. He's still out there.
God, I feel like Terrence Marshall would kill in that offense.
It's gotta be Terrence Marshall.
I would hope. I don't know. I would kind of hope they do get another wide receiver just to give them something to work with. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, because they're just gonna hound AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But that the other receiver that's actually really, really good to me, and I feel like if more people knew about him early, he would have been I mean, I guess it's 2nd round. That's still a really high draft pick. But how do you pronounce the kid's name from North Carolina? Diami Brown.
Diami Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's nice. Like they played A&M in the bowl game, and so I was like, he played in it too, right?
Yeah. I might have to buy your jersey now, Jace. Jeez, I mean, I've been repping Brown for, I got family in North Carolina, so I've been watching him for about 3 years, but I also, do like, scouting for 2 different draft sites. And he's he's my like 5th receiver that I like in this draft.
Like he's actually like really good to me. Like I really like.
Yeah. Like that Hammy Brown he is pretty good. Right, Corey? He's pretty good.
You know who's gonna get him? The Chiefs are gonna get him, and they're just gonna be that much more unstoppable.
Oh dear God. You really think he's gonna fall in the Kansas City?
Jace, I thought honestly that the Packers would be interested in him because I had heard that they were in on Will Fuller. 2 seasons in a row, they wanted Will Fuller, and I thought, they want a deep threat to complement Adams. Brown would be a good, maybe not a 1st rounder, but if he slides to, the Packers.
Yeah, I mean, shit, you guys would know better what teams need and stuff, but I'm just thinking like receiver wise, like Tennessee could go for one, Seattle could go for one.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, they just I love receivers though, but like I don't know who they got. They got Deshaun, Robert Woods, Kansas City, like you said, Carolina. Honestly, I thought New Orleans was going to take Elijah Moore last night.
Yeah, I couldn't believe he fell.
I couldn't believe a lot of people fell.
Jace, what's it like as do veterans or even guys a couple years into it? I'd be watching the draft on edge. Like, are they going to take a guy in my position? I mean, your livelihoods are.
I honestly don't. I mean, 1st round might be a little different, but like, there's so much shit that, like I said, players got to learn. Like once you get to the league, like I'm not taking anything away from these players. Like they're great, but it's like, dude, once you're in the system and you're actually like, you understand the offense and like. So it's like it's a whole different part of worries that you can't even worry about them. You got to worry about your job at the same point. Because every team's trying to replace you always. So So I mean, you can't dig too much. Like I just have fun with I'm a sports fan in general. So like I said, I love the draft. So that's why I keep up with everybody's teams and like.
Yeah, I mean, it's
how much of that? So I'm always fascinated by this. There's like such a randomness to it, right? And like
oh man, I think we just
capitalize on your talents, right? Like how much does that go into your thought process, right? Like
I think we lost you for like 6 seconds.
Oh,
but
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you good now.
My wife was mad I was talking. How much does like fitting the system, like if you end up in the wrong place, right? Like how much does that go into players' minds?
I mean, as far as like players, like, just like letting it take a toll on them and whatnot.
Yeah, like, quarterback would be the easiest, right? Like if you're in the wrong system, you're going to fail. You're a drop back passer being asked to do what Patrick Mahomes does. You're not going to have success, right? Like there's an element of luck to that.
I feel like it probably happens there's probably players on every team who feel like that. Like they're just not in the right system. Cause I mean, like not to be the guy who talks about himself, but like, I mean, people thought I was a terrible football player at KU. Like I wasn't doing anything. They had me going back and forth between defensive end, this and that. Then I go to A&M and get literally put in the system with Jimbo. And it was like, I was the best thing since sliced bread. And it was just like, dude, I haven't got like crazy better overnight. Like it's literally it's all about the perfect fit. Like, I mean, granted, Darren Waller had a little bit different thing. I mean, I think he was battling some off the field issues, but like he played for the Ravens, couldn't get off P squad. And then literally now he's like one of the best tight ends in the NFL with Oakland. Cause like, I mean, I'm a true believer. It's all about the right fit, but I mean, players definitely can, I think they can let that take a toll on them if they're not, but then everybody now, has somewhat of a idea of how, it works in the sense of like contract, 1-year deal, like when you're going to have a chance. And I think that's why it's just so important you have the right agent, because they can just help you get in contact, like, make sure you're going to go to the team that you see fit the best. And that's why I feel like it's so unique watching, like how quick teams can get good. Like, for example, the Browns, like, 3 years ago, they're a laughing stock, but this wasn't the right fit for a lot of those players. And then, now they're getting the right fits there, and it's crazy how everybody's having the success.
We were gonna have Lance Leipold was gonna come on actually this happy hour tonight at some point. He's the UB football coach at University of Buffalo, who's just hired last night as Kansas's new
Kansas. Yeah. No shit. Yeah.
So he's in Lawrence right now looking for a house, so he can't come on, but like I wish he was here so you could tell him like, all right, well, here's what you're walking into in Kansas. Like, what was it like? Because they've been not good forever, pretty much.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit. I mean, like I've been there like 4 years now, but geez, my first 2 years was rough. And we were playing Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon, Corey Coleman, KD Cannon, Seth Russell. Like Jared Stidham was a backup at Baylor. Like, God, they beat the brakes off us. Who was
Stid the kid?
Yeah, I mean, they had Big 12 was loaded. That was when we were playing Trayvon Boykin, Josh Doxson. Like, we had no chance. Like, that was bad.
Why did you choose Kansas then? Like, I can't remember when we talked.
That was my only D1 offer.
That was it, really? So that JUCO year is what helped you get to A&M, right? You just kind of blew up there, and
yeah, like I said, just got the opportunity because I was originally gonna go JUCO out of high school.
Really?
So I was dead set on like, dude, go to JUCO. They can re-recruit you. You'll be set. Like you're fine. Like I believed in myself. I was like, it'll be fine. Like just relax. And then KU came, and literally my JUCO coach was like, dude, you have to take this KU offer. Like, and I was like, all right, I will.
And then they had you at D end and throwing you all over the place.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, I don't know how they can compete. Like, they're always going to be the runt of the conference, right? Like,
shit, but you got to remember, man. Hey, Iowa State was terrible before Matt Campbell got there.
It's true.
Like it just
I
you
can
never
tell
know.
you, as somebody who's at the University of Wisconsin when they never won and it was all about drinking beer, that can change in a hurry with the right coach.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. So it's like there's no bad blood with him. I hope this Leopold dude turns it around. Like I really do, because Lawrence is a fun school. Like that's a fun place to be.
Right.
I think Leopold's going to do a good job.
I do too, from everything I've heard. Like sounds like a beast.
He knows what he's doing. I always love watching UB play because of that guy. He was a mastermind in Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard, man. But hey, I appreciate you guys having me. I'm finally about to go eat some dinner. She's starving, waiting on me. I thought I was gonna be on for like 10 minutes.
Hey, well, we strung it out as long as we could, man. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. You're amazing.
No problem. Thanks for like I said, thanks for good conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Anytime.
Appreciate it, Jace. Thank you.
You guys have a good night.
Best of luck to you too.
Okay, man.
Thank you.
We'll be talking.